Les Hinton, we're here today to talk about your book, The Bootle Boy, which talks about your journey of working beside Rupert Murdoch. What was that like, working with Rupert Murdoch for 52 years?
The age of 15, getting a job on this little evening newspaper that was owned by a 28-year-old chap called Rupert Murdoch. The first sort of 15 years of it, I began buying him his sandwiches for lunch and breakfast, and then I was a reporter, so I travelled the world as a correspondent all over Europe and much of the world, actually. And I didn't really get to know him until, apart from buying his sandwiches and him saying, "Thank you, Les," until the early 70s, really. And then I began to get into management with him, and then I worked very close with him. And he was, of course, he's a famous person, formidable to many. I knew him very well, and he could be a difficult man, a very cantankerous, very persistent, very unforgiving, but he was a brilliant success. I mean, he built huge companies all over the English-speaking world in a way that no one before him has done. And now things have changed because you've got these mega global companies like Facebook that stretch around every corner of the world. In those days, he was in his prime. He was the biggest media tycoon of them all. The issue of phone hacking, which took place until the summer of 2006, when two journalists were arrested. The actual practice of phone hacking, which was not known to a lot of people, including me, ceased then because these two chaps were sent to prison for a short time. Yeah. It did transpire since then that the News of the World, but also a lot of other newspapers, the Mirror Group, a lot of other newspapers, there were small numbers in each of these newspapers employing this practice because it was turns out very easy to do. It was a terrible episode, a terrible abuse of new technology which no one quite understood. A lot of people were harmed by it, and it's thankfully, I mean, in 2011 was when the true scale of what had happened became known, because for a long period of time, people who knew what had happened were not saying what had happened, and it was then when it blew up and became a huge crisis for Rupert Murdoch's company, but also for other companies also. Yeah.
And what made you want to write this book of your life journey?
Well, there have been so many books written about Rupert Murdoch. I wanted to write a book about my life, but I knew it had to feature Rupert Murdoch in a major way. And it took, when I'd finished working, I wasn't sure I could write a detached book about him because there have been most of the books written about him would trash him terribly. I mean, there are some that don't, but most of them do overwhelmingly. And I thought, do I have a chance of writing a book that is both acknowledges his warts, and he certainly got them, faults, and he certainly got them, while recognising that he's been an enormous success and in a way provided lots of value and lots of choice for people in media in this country, in Australia, and in the United States and elsewhere. And it took me a while to work out how I might be able to do that. I think I succeeded because I certainly am not uncritical of him, but nor do I think that he's this demon that so many other books have described him as.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on fake news? Because obviously we have social media now, we have Facebook, and people are able to come up with stories if they want to that are completely unfounded. Yes. What are your thoughts on that?
It is the dark side of the great overall value of widespread media, where everybody can get in touch with anybody, and that has got to be good. In the days when a few media companies were able to dictate what lots of people discovered, whether they were newspapers or whether they were big television networks, that has completely turned upside down now. You sit there with your iPhone and you've got infinity in the palm of your hand. You can see anything. So we're going through difficult periods, and it will be difficult. When printing was invented, there was some terrible rubbish written in print as well. There still is, to be fair. But I think that the virtue of what social media or what the web or what this universal instant communication allows has got much more to be said in favour of it than against it.
Yeah, excellent. Well, as I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about the Bootle Boy.
Thank you very much. Nice to talk to you.